Interesting thing, isn't it? The cross and how the cross goes 90 degrees. So the right hand rule, again, rules because the up and down is the electrical and the curvature is the wraparound magnetism, which is the angular momentum. And that's what makes the parallel. So the electric makes the magnetic in free space. So this is what I'm talking about and trying to illustrate. And the Z up is also tuned to the fine structure constant. The fact that there is a Z, a fine structure constant that permeates absolutely everything, including atoms, their alignment. They don't do anything unless they're aligned 90 degrees up. And they have the cross. The cross must be maintained throughout every dimension, from atom to planet to black hole to suns to everything. Must have this cross polarity. And it's really two phases that interact to each other at the zero. And there's only one, and that's the fine structure. That's the seven. That is the magical seven. The 1 over 1, 3, 7. It's magical. So, in essence, here, the esoteric seems to indicate exactly that. And that there is two pathways that seem to separate on that coin, that seem to separate the two, the 90 degrees. So really, the cross is light, and the result of inside the body is the angular momentum of the right hand rule. So inside of a body, it'll create this magnetic field. So it escapes the zero-ness of the light. The light rides on zero. It always rides on zero. So it is two fields that intersect at the zero. But they are like in two dimensions. So the alpha and omega signals are opposite directions of each other. So across the universe has no, all it is interconnections, basically voids with the Higgs field. The Higgs field exists in space. There is still enclosure, but it's expanded enclosure. The structure of its own Higgs field, and the universe is a Higgs field. So its Higgs field is on another scale. It's on another dimension. So the dimension is so vast that traveling from one side to the other is really nothing. It's really just entangled. So it's just as fast as crossing if you were on a planet crystal. All is a crystal because all is an enclosure. So we're talking about all electrons and subparticles. Every particle obeys this cross law, which is a directionality of in and out. Alpha, 0, omega. So the crossover is because there is nothing. There is no time co-sharing. They are absolutely opposite direction in time. So how do you see something that is going backwards? You can't see anything that's going backwards, only forwards. So the forwards becomes the real. So the real becomes the solution, the egg, the atoms. So we're sending through the hole a bunch of subspace modules, quantum packets, if you like, or photonic crosses. So these crosses are singular in their own, they have their own universe in themselves. They'll have a angular momentum, the magnetic field, which is a plate, which is a plane, and it'll have its 0 point, which carries all that information and energy of the plane. So the plane is all in the Z. So the Z up, the thumb up of the right hand rule is the driver. So it is what goes backwards in time, but through it there is also the opposite of itself. Bottom line, everything talks to each other in each dimension. And through light, light is the zero of the light is at all dimensions. Every dimension from Planck to galactic universe. Everything obeys the light frequency, the cube. It's really a voxel, a pixel of within the Higgs field. It's all boxes stacked up together that make these star tetrahedrons, which are enclosed crystallizations that can create any form within itself. So it has an up and a bottom crystal resonator. So it has a two-way transmission. It's expressed as far as chirality of a crystal. Chirality of a crystal, there is within each cube of line that is interconnected within the crystal, the information will ride in a vertical fashion, but also the planes. And the planes will, through the zero, the edges, the vertex, the zeros connect all of the facets of the crystal. So atomically, the crystals obey the Z interelectric connection. Like the DNA tests is all electric. So it is determined by electrics, but the magnetics create the body, the angular momentum. And the angular momentum is what we see, and that's what creates a field. A field, once you stack up a whole bunch of them, it makes a ball. So a planet, an atom, what have you. It just depends on its Higgs field inside itself. So if it's highly compressed, highly subspaced, warped to extreme small, then its universe is extremely small. But it has as much content as an Earth. So in the atom, there is as much information as there is in an Earth type of thing, because the expansion of that body. That's why hydrogen is so complex. You see the permutations of light that affect it. It's geometrically infinite in its possibilities. So they are like crystal balls. Within them, it's its own field, and it exists there like really. It makes me think of monitor screens. You know, you just stack up a bunch of monitor screens, and depending on the structure and the interconnections of vectors, it'll make a certain reflection. It'll make a refraction within itself, which will create a different element or function in the crystal. So it you can send messaging to create these. It's like programming it.